Hi everyone, in today's tutorial we're going to learn Nginx reverse proxy with multi-website on a single server using AWS. For that we are going to use AWS single instance on which we will deploy two websites with Nginx as a reverse proxy, and also we will configure SSL with Let's Encrypt to secure our website on port 443. When using Nginx web server, server blocks can be used to encapsulate configuration details and host more than one domain on a single server. In this guide, we will discuss how to configure server blocks in Nginx to host more than one website. For example purposes, I am going to set up two domains on Nginx server. The domain names I am using sayyidusmanahmad.com and test.sayyidusmanahmad.com, which I have purchased from AWS, and we will configure the domains on AWS on Route 53. So let's start. To set up our EC2 instances, first we will launch our instance on AWS. As I already log into my account, so I will go to EC2 and here we will launch our new instance. We are selecting Ubuntu server 20.04, our base image, and I will select T2 micro free tier account. Here we will select default setting and we'll add a script to install Nginx while deploying our server. As we will install Nginx, we need to start it and configure it on boot time. Whenever our server reboot or start, so it will automatically start. So service Nginx enable will enable our boot time Nginx service. We will add our storage and tag our machine with the name Nginx reverse proxy. Or we'll create a new security group here with the name security group. We'll add our HTTP port and HTTPS port for our website configuration. We'll go to review range and launch our instance. Here it will ask for a key pair to SSL our instance. I already have a key pair downloaded, so I'm using that one. Uh, you guys can create a new key pair from here and give that key pair name. And please note that this is only this time you can download this key pair. If you don't download, then you are unable to access your machine. So I am selecting my key pair and launch instance. Meanwhile, our instance launch, we can download some CSS template for our website. For that, you can go to www.freecss.com. Here you can download any kind of two free templates. As I already downloaded this one and this one, so we'll use these two templates for our websites. As our instance is running now, and we need to wait for status check 2 by 2. So guys, as you can see, our instance is ready. 2 by 2 check is complete. So we'll access our instance through its public IP address. So copy this public IP address and we'll access it in WinSCP. The public IP address, and this username is Ubuntu, and here we'll give our public key of which we downloaded and converted in Putigen. Go to authentication, private key file, you have to click yes. So guys, we are in our server. We'll copy our websites to our server. As I said before, I downloaded two sites, so I will copy these two sites into our server. So guys, our copy is completed. Here I'll show one thing more. The key which we downloaded is a private key from the AWS. You have to convert that key in public key to access your AWS instance. For that, you have to go to the install location and you have to run Putigen. Nginx has one server block which is enabled. It is configured to serve documents out of a directory at var www html location. While this works well for a single site, and we'll check in browser by pasting our public IP. So guys, you can see our Nginx is properly working in our server. So we will go to Nginx default location, and we will make two directories for our websites. By pressing tab, it will complete your command. In www, you can see there is a default directory for Nginx HTML. We are giving web1 name to our first directory, and I will copy our first site in web1 HTML directory. So guys, our both directories are created. Now we will change our directory permissions so we can copy and paste our content in that directories through Ubuntu user. So now we will create ownership of the directories. And now we will change permission to our www directory. So our directories are set and configured. Now we'll move our next step. Let me clear my screen. Now we will copy our website to our directories. So our second site also copied. Let's check it out. As you can see, our index.html file is there. Now guys, that we have the content we wish to serve, now we need to create the server blocks that will tell Nginx how to do this. By default, Nginx one server block called default, which I already showed you. We will begin by designing our first domain server block. To create our first server block, we will create a file in default path of Nginx with the command. This is the Nginx default location to serve our website. I'm giving the file name web1 for our first website. I will create our server block for our first website. Which will listen on port 80. This is for IPv6. I will define our root directory for our website. And the index file. Now we'll define our server name. So we'll save and close our file. And now we'll copy the same file for our second website. We'll go in that directory and check our files are created or not. Now we'll access our second file and make the changes. Now guys, that we have our server blocks files ready, we need to enable them. For that we can do this by creating symbolic links for these files to our site enables directory, which Nginx read from that during setup. We can create these files by the commands as first. Before that, I will show you the uh, default directory of our Nginx symbolic links from where it read our files. For that we have to go one step back and we need to go to site enable directory. Here you can see only default link is there, which is for Nginx. Now we'll create our both website links. Same we will do for our second website. Verify it. Now guys, our files are linked and ready to serve, but before that we have to avoid a possible hash bucket memory problem. For that we have to go to Nginx default directory, Nginx configuration file, and need to make changes there. Finally, we will check our Nginx all configuration, which we'll make by running the command. So our test is successful. We will restart our Nginx service. After restarting, now we will go to our AWS account and configure our site on Route 53. In my domain, or we can edit that already created record and copy our IP address of our server. Save the record and finally we'll check our website, the domain name. So guys, you can see our first site is successfully configured. Now we will configure our second domain. For that we will create a record and add the second domain name test.sayyidusmanahmed.com and our server IP. So our second record is created. Also we'll test that one. So guys, as you can see, our second domain is also successfully configured. So this way you can configure multiple websites on the single server